Hey, you're all welcome to our day 4 aspect of one question per day geography. We're looking at water. Now you have map of the world here with risk of water shortage, and you have your key given to you here that will be used for interpreting this map. So the first question is, so study figure 6.1 insert, which is a map showing information about the risk of water shortage. Now, which one of the four countries labeled on figure 6.1 is most at risk of water shortage? So if you look at the four countries, we have Mexico, we have Brazil, Botswana, and Australia. So which of them is most at risk? Australia, no. Botswana is extremely high. Mexico is, you have Mexico before Botswana. So the answer to that question with Botswana, extremely high risk to water shortage. Now, the next question here is for us to describe the distribution of countries with the highest risk of water shortage. Highest risk. So here, you have most countries with the highest risk of water shortage around the Tropic of Cancer. You have them in Northern Africa and you have them in Southern Asia. And these countries are unevenly distributed. It's not distributed equally around the world. And you also have one of those countries in the Tropic of Capricorn here, which is Botswana. That's all. You get your mark. You just need 2 points. It's 2 mark question. Now they say explain why many people living in rural areas in LEDCs do not have enough water. People living in rural areas, why wouldn't they have enough water? Uh, One major reasons are that it's usually due to lack of rainfall or high evaporation. There won't be a lot of water. Distance from where they are to a reliable water source, such as river and lake. We have lack of technology also. Things like reservoir, wells, borehole, tap, and pipeline are not available. Then people, or you have poor water distributions in terms of pipeline distributed to different houses. Now, many water sources are actually polluted, so they can't afford a water treatment plant. And so water is usually wasted through inefficient irrigation method that is being used in most LEDCs. And bottled water is quite expensive for them to import into the area. So that is it. You just need 3 points for 3 marks. Now, they say describe the problem caused by water shortage in rural areas in an LEDCs. So obviously, if there is water shortage, it will reduce crop yield due to lack of water. There will be no water to irrigate farms, and lack of water can also lead to death of livestock, and this which will lead to lack of food, and lack of food can actually cause starvation. Now, also, there will be no water to drink, so people will drink contaminated water, obviously, which will now lead to diseases such as cholera and typhoid, and this will increase death rate. Now, there will be no water for domestic activities such as cooking and washing of clothes, leading to poor sanitation. So lastly, people will migrate from the area or travel long distance to access water. So people will also fight for water and food in rural areas in LEDCs. So these are problems caused by water shortages. Now we have two pie graph or pie chart here. And okay, pie graph. There's a study figure 6.2 graph showing information about water supply in cities in Africa and Asia. We have two there. Now, anytime you're giving pie graph, one thing you should look at is your key. The key will help you to interpret it. Now, they say we should state 3 differences between water supply in cities in Africa and Asia. Do not use statistics. So all we need to do here, we look at this 2 pie graph. Here, tap water is high. Tap at home is high in Asia than Africa. Public tap is high in Africa than Asia. Boreholes and wells is high in Asia than in Africa. Then no nearby water source is high in Africa than in Asia. You just need 3 points using the key. You get your full marks. That's it. Now, we have this question here also. They said the government of an LEDC is considering the following strategies to improve water supply in the country. Okay, now we have five strategies here. One is to build a large new reservoir close to the capital city. Two, which is strategy B, is to build more water treatment plants in rural areas. Strategy C is to build more desalination plant on the coast. Then strategy D is to build more pipelines to transfer water to drier part of the country. And strategy E is to import bottled water. Now, the question is, which strategy do you think is likely to be most effective in providing a suitable water supply? Which? Now, justify your answer by referring to the advantages of the strategy you have chosen and the disadvantages of one of the strategy you have rejected. So you pick one and you tell us why, giving it advantage. Then the ones you've rejected, you give us their disadvantage. So that is all. So you have to look through it and look at the ones that you think you have more advantage for. Now, the first thing is anyone you choose will improve the water supply, yeah, within the area. Then you look at other things that you explain your point with. So here is a sample. Desalination plant. Obviously, there will be constant water supply that will be produced, and the water will not dry out, obviously, and water will be available. For any of the strategy you pick, water will be available. So water will be available in drier part of the country. That's if you pick strategy D. Now, any of the strategy you want to pick, even if it's strategy D, desalination plant, build water treatment plant, any of them will be expensive, so that will be a disadvantage. But building pipeline and any of them too can affect the environment because you have to clear vegetation in order for them to be in place, except possibly the imported bottled water will not have that. But imported bottled water will be expensive, and water treatment plant, reservoir, and desalination plant pipeline need technology. So maybe the technology will be lacking. So that will be a disadvantage. That's it. Then lastly, for this question we have for a country, for a named country or area you have studied, describe the strategies which are used to supply energy. Now, the country I used here is Nigeria, obviously. What are the strategies we use in generating electricity or, supply energy in Nigeria? We have both renewable and non-renewable methods in Nigeria. Non-renewable methods we use in Nigeria are things like fossil fuels, such as your oil. We have a lot of natural gas, and also we have refineries that produce them in Port Harcourt and Warri, despite they are inefficient. But we also have the Dangote refinery presently that also help in this energy generation. So we also supply water using hydroelectric power methods, which is around 30% of Nigeria electricity supply from areas like Kanji and Chiroro Dam. Now, we also have solar power in Nigeria. We have wind power being developed in the northern part of Nigeria. We also have biomass energy being used presently, generated from agricultural waste. So you can pause the video and read through it and jot down important point that you will use to get the complete 7 mark, because there are statistics here, there are place specific reference here, and there are different energies here and how they are being used and some of the advantages and disadvantages and inadequacy that you have in Nigeria. So thank you. Welcome. We'll be looking at day 5 tomorrow.